Calculate area. Oh, okay. Hey, welcome back to Lazy Arquitecto. Today we're going to give you some tips and tricks to be more productive in Autocad, like the one that you just saw. So let's start. So let's start with the tip that I just showed you about getting quickly areas of spaces, right? So the trick here is that you don't need to calculate any area. If you hover over a polyline like this, right? This is a polyline around this building. You can basically hover over and you will see the area for you. You would see the area quickly. So that way you can simply, update your text and input the area. So let me show you how you can do this. So the way you do this is by opening the CUI, like so, and of course pressing enter. Um, so over here on the customize user interface, we have a couple of options. What we need to do is go under the rollover tooltips and find the polyline option. So as you can see, we have many different features to show here, but what I'm interested in is on the area right here. So if you check or uncheck that, that's where you will see these features. So just simply click OK. And of course, again, you can simply hover over an area and you will see automatically the area numbers. All right. So I hope this tip can help you to quickly generate areas in AutoCAD. So let's continue with the tip of today, number 2. But before, we have a comment on the chat. So let me go over. And so let's start with the tip that I just showed you about getting quickly areas of spaces, right? So the trick here is that you don't need to calculate any area. If you hover over a polyline like this, right? This is a polyline around this building. You can basically hover over and you will see the area for you. You would see the area quickly. So that way you can simply, update your text and input the area. So let me show you how you can do this. So the way you do this is by opening the CUI, like so, and of course pressing enter. Um, so over here on the customize user interface, we have a couple of options. What we need to do is go under the rollover tooltips and find the polyline option. So as you can see, we have many different features to show here, but what I'm interested in is on the area right here. So if you check or uncheck that, that's where you will see these features. So just simply click OK. And of course, again, you can simply hover over an area and you will see automatically the area numbers. All right. So I hope this tip can help you to quickly generate areas in AutoCAD. So let's continue with the tip of today, number 2. But before, we have a comment on the chat. So let's go with the tip for today, the number 2. So sometimes happen that you stretch something, right? Or you move something, let's say 12 feet, or sorry, 12 inches or so. right? Using the regular stretch command. Um, and you, in this case, it's a simple selection, right? For the stretch, these two walls. But what happens if you did a complex selection, right? You spend time or wasted time selecting something that is more complex. And now, instead of selecting it again, right? What you can do is use the same command in this case stretch, right? And use the P for previous. So if you do that and simply press enter, you can see that automatically I'm selecting the previous objects. So at this point I can simply press enter and again stretch again. So that's the previous tip for today. Again, previous work with most of the commands, moved, stretch, and so on. So for instance, if I'm selecting these subjects, I'm gonna move it up uh, 12 inches like so. Of course, this is a simple selection again, but if you did a more complex, you can simply use the move command again and do P for previous and press enter. And that way you will have your previous selection like so. So very powerful. I use it every time the previous option to use with any command. All right. So let's keep moving. And this third tip to improve your productivity in AutoCAD is to use the dim scale system variable. So many times at offices, I see that if you open the dim style, um, the dimensions style using the dimst option over here, you will see that offices or people in general, they create so many different dimension styles for, according to each specific scale or size. So let me show you, this was an old alternative, but there is now a better and quicker and more productive way to manage the sizes for your dimensions using again the dim scale. So for instance, let me close that out. And right now, let's go to paper space. Um, so in order to first know the size of your dimension, let's get into the viewport, which is right here. And we can see that the scale for this drawing is 3/32, right? 3/32 of an inch. So let me go and find my scale factor chart, which is this one over here. And at this point, you already know how to download this chart. If you don't know, I'm gonna put another link on the video description so you can get this chart because it's very helpful even for beginners or advanced users. So again, 3/32. Let's go down here and we can see that the factor is 128. So let's remember that factor, right? And let's go over here on model space and let's set the dim scale to 128. Sorry, dim scale, enter, 128 and enter. So it looks like nothing really happened, but whenever we drew a dimension now, right, using a regular dimension command, let's say let's dimension this part over here, you can see that our text comes to the correct size only using the dim scale. So again, if we change our dim scale to a different scale, just to give you another example. So let's go here. Let's say you're using 1/8, right, of an inch scale or viewport scale, and you will see that is 96. So let's go and let's change our dim scale to 96, like so, and press enter. So again, if I add one more dimension, you will see that the dimension will come in the correct size or scale, like so. All right, so that's a way for you to never create so many dimension styles. You don't have to do that. Only use this tip which is setting up your dim scale according to the chart. So that way you only need one dimension style. All right. So let's go with the next tip. And the next tip for productivity is a tip to move things or objects quickly. So for instance, let me go to this other drawing over here, and let's move this. If let's say, for instance, I want to move this multi-liter over here to the side, of course I could use the move command like so, right? But there is a quicker way to do that. If you want to move objects and you don't really need any precision to move them, you can simply select your object and using the left mouse click, select it and hold it, and you can simply move it freely like so. So that way you can move your objects quickly, right? So that's another tip for moving objects quickly in AutoCAD. Before we proceed with the next tip for productivity, we have Xiomara Araujo. Xiomara, thank you very much for your super sticker. That's great that you are supporting my work. That makes me feel proud of my work, and that motivates me to keep showing each Saturday here with another live stream. Thank you very much, Xiomara, for your super sticker and for supporting my work, basically. Okay, so let's keep moving with the next tip for productivity for today. So the next one is the um, tricks for aligning your objects here in AutoCAD. So for instance, let's say that some of these text are not aligned, right? Like so. So a quick way to align all of these text is by using the property palette. So let's open the property palette and let's go over here and select the text that we need to align. So I'm gonna pick this text because that's what I want all of my text to be aligned with. So once I do that, from the property palette, there is an option of position X. So I'm gonna select that and copy with Control C. And then I'm gonna select all of the rest of my text like so. And then again, going to the position X, I'm gonna paste whatever I just copied and press enter. So once I do that, you can see that all of your text was aligned quickly and nicely to the left. Great, right? This way you can utilize this tip to align your text more efficient and of course more productive. So let's keep moving with the next tip for productivity. So the next tip for today that I want to give it to you is to rotate your objects, your in this case your text more efficiently. So for instance, let's say that all of this text is, rotated like so, or, even a little bit like so. So a way to rotate your objects, not only for regular text, but also for attributes. So let me change the rotation of this attribute. So for instance, rotation 25. Oh, sorry. So let's double click in here. Text options, properties. All right. So a quick way to rotate or align your objects is using the T-orient command. So again, T-orient, and we can simply press enter. And at this point, we can select all of our text like so, and then press enter again. So here you can use the most readable option, or you can simply click once, click twice, and all of your text would be aligned like so. Again, the T-orient is very helpful because it also works with attributes inside blocks. So basically, it's a way to rotate quickly any of your annotation here in AutoCAD. All right, so hope you can use that tip, and let's keep moving with the next tip for productivity. All right, so the next one that I want to share with you is the burst command. Yes, so for instance, burst command is very useful when there is a problem whenever you want to explode a block. Let's say, for instance, this is a block, right? So if I explode it with the regular explode command, with the shortcut explode and press enter, you can see that the attribute information is lost, even the properties, right? So let me undo that with Control Z, and that's where the burst command comes handy. So if we again use the burst command and press enter, you can see that the block was exploded. However, the information it's still the same, which is great. So this is a way to manage exploring your blocks but keeping the same properties of your block. All right. So hope you can take advantage of the burst command. Let's keep moving. And the next tip for productivity for AutoCAD is the move hatch option. So right now you can see that I have this hatch over here that is being moved to, the right a couple of inches. So a way to fix this, the issue is that of course if I just moved it using the regular move command, right, you can see that I cannot snap here on the hatch. So the way to move it precisely is going over here on this grip and pressing the space bar. Once you once you press the space bar, of course you can see if you don't press the space bar, you will simply move the grip. But if you press the space bar like so, you can see that now I'm able to move my entire hatch from that grip like so. So at this point, I can simply move my hatch and place it on this corner like so. Great, right? You can use that tip or technique to be more productive in AutoCAD. Are you ready for the next tip? Let's do it. So the next tip is the um, changing the keyboard shortcuts for commands. Yes. So let me show you. Over here, if I want to select some of my multi-leaders, I would like to use the select similar command for that. But the problem is that if I want to use the select similar, I need to type the entire command like so, which is a waste of time, of course. I want a simple keyboard shortcut for this select similar, right? So how can we do that? So the way we do it is using an option from the express tools over here on your ribbon. So let's click that and find the command alias. So let's click and open the command alias to assign a keyboard shortcut to the select similar command. And the way we do it is go here and click add, and then find the command, in this case select similar, and the select similar is right here. Of course I'm gonna select it, and then under the alias option, what we need to put is the keys that we want for this command. In my case, I'm gonna use the SS for select similar, of course. So at this point, I'm gonna click OK, and then let's see if it is activated already or not. So SS is not activated. So you can see over here that for some reason the command aliases dialog box went away, but don't worry, it's right here at the bottom. So let's simply click on it to activate it again. So at this point, you can simply click apply and then say yes and okay. So once you do that, let's see if it is. Sometimes you need to close and reopen AutoCAD, but let's try it. So SS, and as you can see, the select similar command would be activated. So let's use it. SS and press enter like so to select all of my multi-leader commands. So that's the tip for creating custom keyboard shortcuts quickly for any long command that you would like to change, right? So I hope you can use that tip for productivity. And let's keep moving with the next one. The next one, the next tip that I want to share with you is using the extreme command. Yes. So sometimes happens that we need a portion of a drawing. In this case, I need only these two restrooms and not the whole plan. So what I'm gonna do is select the these restrooms like so, right? I'm gonna select all of those, and then I'm gonna copy these objects to the side using the regular copy command, right? I'm gonna copy it to the side like so, and then at this point, I can simply draw a rectangle like so around the objects that I need. So I need this area, and then I'm gonna use the extreme command. So the extreme command, what it does is it trims the areas outside this boundary. So let me show you extreme. Once I select this rectangle once and then go out like this, of course, outside the rectangle like so, you can see that it will automatically trim the areas outside. Of course, this won't apply for blocks. So blocks, I can simply erase them like so, or also multi-leaders like so. All right, so that way you have a portion of your um, drawing, maybe for a detail or so on, but that is the extreme command, and it's very useful again for generating this um, blow up or of details of certain drawings, right, quickly. So let's keep moving and let's go with the next tip for productivity in AutoCAD. And this would be setting up layers in the AutoCAD program, but not in a manual way. So usually what happens is you need to open the layer palette to, you know, create a dimension, create a layer for your dimension and so on. And once you have that, you can place your dimension on the correct layer like so. So, but there is a better way of doing this is to let AutoCAD know that you want a certain layer for your dimensions. So in order to do that, you can use um, the dim layer system variable. So the dim layer, what it does is it basically sets up a layer. So when you create a dimension, it automatically will place your dimension on the correct layer. So for instance, if I put dimensions and press enter, you will see that the next time that I add a dimension, right, a regular dimension like so. So for instance, I want to dimension um, this door like so. And then you will see that when I select this dimension, again, it came in the correct layer that I specified before, in this case, dimension. So that's a quick way and more productive way to have your dimensions always on the correct layer. And again, this will work also for text. So there is an option to call text layer. So once you set up a layer for your text, of course, once you create your text, it will also come on the correct layer. All right. So I hope that helped you to, you know, automate some of the defaults for layers, in your drawings. Again, dimensions, also text, and you can pick the layers that you most regularly use. All right, so let's keep moving with the next tip and trick here in AutoCAD for productivity. And this would be the oops command. Yes, so sometimes happen that you are working on a drawing, um, and let's say you're working here in this drawing and by accident you erased a column, just to give you an example, and then you keep moving over here, drawing um, rooms and so on. So I'm gonna copy this just to give you an example. And then you realize, oh no, so I erased this column by accident, but I already did some work here. I don't want to simply undo and go back and lose all of my progress that I already did. So what do I do? Here is where the oops command comes handy. So if I type oops like so, you will see that this handy command will bring back the object that you erased by accident. So let's try it. Oops, and press enter. And you can see your column is showing now again, which is great. So that way you don't lose your progress. Isn't that great, right? So I hope you can utilize this oops command in your workflow. So let's keep moving with the next tip for productivity here in AutoCAD. So, and this would be the change space command. Yes. So basically, most of the time we have a viewport on our drawing like so on paper space, but I would like to project that viewport here on model space, right? So I can organize my drawings better. So the way that we can do is, first, I'm gonna draw a rectangle, a basic rectangle using the rectangle command, and I'm gonna draw it the same size of my viewport. So my viewport is right here, so I'm gonna click like so. Then I'm gonna use the change space command, or also called ch space, like that. So this is the command that it's a nice way or productive way to do this quickly. So let's use it, change space. And I'm gonna select the rectangle that I just drew, like so, and then press enter. So at this point, I can press enter again, or um, to get out of your viewport, you can simply double click over here, like so. And then if we go over here on model space, you can see that an outline of the size of your viewport is showing here in model space. Isn't that great? So this is a way for you to quickly send objects either from paper space to model, or you could also send it from model to paper space using the change space command. Great, right? So let's keep moving with the next tip. And the next tip for productivity is it's using a sub command. It's not an actual command, but it's a sub command, and it's basically uh, a way to quickly place objects in the middle of 2 points. So for instance, right now I want to move this door over here in the middle of these two walls, right? So I want to place this door on the middle of these two walls. So how do I do that in a productive way? Of course, before, when I didn't know better AutoCAD, I used to, draw a line like so. So that way I can stretch my objects in the middle of this line, right? But you don't have to do that. That's a waste of time. Let me show you the middle between 2 points option. So let's stretch that, and let's go and stretch this door like so. I'm gonna deselect this block, And once I press enter, of course I want to place in the middle of this. So what I can do is use the M2P, that is the subcommand for middle between 2 points, and then press enter. So here I'm gonna select this point and then this other point to grab my door from the middle point. And next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna repeat the M2P and press enter to place my object in the middle of this wall. So click, and then this other wall, click. And again, you see that your door was placed exactly in the middle of 2 points. Isn't that great? So again, this is a more productive way to move, stretch, or use any command using the middle between 2 points. So let's keep moving with the next tip for productivity here in AutoCAD. And the next one is to use wipeouts. Yes. So for example, I have this tenant sign over here, and the way that some people do it is, of course, trim the hatch around, or or bring the hatch around this tenant sign so I can see better. But that's where the wipeout command comes handy. So let's add a wipeout to this sign so it can hide the some portion of this brick. So to do that, since this is a block, let's right click and pick block editor. Um, Oops, let's do it again. Block editor. So right here we have this block. So to add a wipeout, simply use the wipeout command like so. And then there would be options here. Let's see, let's select polyline, and then let's pick this polyline like so. Erase polyline. Nope, I don't want to erase the polyline. So at this point, the wipeout is there, but there is we need to turn on the frame of this wipeout. So let's use that by using the wipeout frame like so, and set it to 1 so we can see the frame. So let's select these two lines and deselect it with so if you go to the properties, so let's open the PR, we can see that if we select this, there are two objects, of course. So the first one is the wipeout. We need to send the wipeout to the back, and we can do that by using the draw order command, dr, and pressing enter, and then select the back option. Once we do that, the wipeout is sent to the back, and then we can close this block and save the changes. So what happened now is that a wipeout is hiding some of the brick, and we can simply move this block as we wish, like so, and the wipeout will follow and hide the objects behind this brick. All right. So that's again another tip for productivity, to use wipeouts, um, mostly with blocks, because that way you can quickly move both objects inside. So that's another tip for productivity. And let's keep moving. And the next tip is to use the boundary command. Yes. So for instance, I would like to draw an outline over here that goes around my elevation building to add a color so it can print darker, right? And the way we can do it more effectively, instead of, drawing a polyline around like so, that's a waste of time, right? So let's not do that, and let's use the boundary command. So let's draw a rectangle really quick. And I'm gonna draw a rectangle from here all the way up to here like so. And then what I'm gonna do is uh, use the BO for the shortcut. That's the shortcut for the boundary command. And over here, let's pick the polyline option. Make sure that's selected and click OK. So at this point, I can click inside the rectangle like so. And you can see that it will generate automatically an outline or boundary. So at this point, I can press enter and I will have this like so. So at this point, what I can do is simply use the trim command, and I will trim, of course, this part, and then I will trim this other part like so, and then I will erase my rectangle, and then I will have also erase this object, and then I will have my outline like so, quickly and easy. So at this point, I can change layers, or I can do, whatever I want, and you will have your outline quickly and easily like so. Great, right? That's a quick and more productive way to generate outlines here inside the AutoCAD program. So use that technique. And let's keep moving with the next tip for productivity in AutoCAD. So the next one is the snap and command. Yes, sometimes happen that you have walls or objects on an angle and not on a orthogonal way like this. So, and if you want to draw, let's say a wall, you have to, use other options to draw perpendicular to your objects. So that is where the snap and command comes handy. So if you use snap and press enter, so you can see that AutoCAD is asking to enter a new value for the angle. So at this point, I don't know the angle of this wall, but what I can do is hold the shift on my keyboard and then right click, and I will pick the nearest mode or nearest snap mode. So I'll click that, and then I'm gonna select this wall, and then I'm gonna again hold shift, right click, and then pick nearest again. So I'm gonna select then here, and you can see that my angle for my cursor changed to the angle of this wall, which is great because now if I draw a polyline, I can simply go like that, and maybe I need to go like that, and then offset it or do whatever I need to do in order to draw my wall to the perpendicular to this other wall. Great, right? So that's again, before we proceed, I wanted to show you how we can set the angle back. We can use the snap and set the angle in this case to 0. And once we do that, again, our cursor is straight. So that's a productive way to draw here in a certain angles in AutoCAD. So what do you think about these tips for productivity? Which one is your favorite? So let me know in the comments. Thanks to these friends who support my work, you can keep learning ways to save time in AutoCAD. Just click the video on your screen and see you on this next lesson.